Donald Trump has decided to attack an American company that makes an American product and also employs many American people. So why would he do that? Well, it's over an obscure local news story out of Louisville, Kentucky, that showed a screenshot of that was taken by a Goodyear employee. The employee claimed that this screenshot was from some sort of racial discrimination training that they had to go through. And there was apparently zero tolerance for a certain type of apparel. So the slide shows that acceptable apparel includes Black Lives Matter gear or anything that talks about gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender pride. Unacceptable. On that list, you have Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, MAGA attire, and political affiliated slogans and material. So, this is something that of course upset Donald Trump because he wants to make sure that anyone who wants to wear his goofy hats can wear their goofy hats. And so he tweeted about this saying the following: "Don't buy Goodyear tires. They announced a ban on MAGA hats. Get better tires for far less. This is what the radical left Democrats do. Two can play the same game, and we have to start playing it now." So a few things I want to just quickly mention. Donald Trump recently went on a rant about cancel culture and then proceeded to cancel Goodyear because of some policy that they have about certain political attire. And then, look, I personally don't care about whether or not someone wears a MAGA hat. I don't get triggered by it. I don't really, I judge them. There's no question about that. If you want me to prejudge you, that's the best way to do it. And at first I was like, yeah, I don't think Goodyear should do this. I think Goodyear should just let people wear what they want to wear, as long as it's not super inappropriate or could, endanger someone as they're doing their job or something. If you're making tires, I'm sure you have to wear certain safety equipment. But at the same time, we're in such a divisive, terrible environment right now as a country. And when you go to work, you have to be around people you work with. And so why needlessly do things that are going to antagonize your colleagues or your coworkers and make the work environment even more unbearable than it needs to be? But Kayleigh McEnany was asked about Trump's boycott. And so I wanna watch that video and get your thoughts, John. Let's take a look.
So why is the president retaliating against a private company for their dress code and potentially jeopardizing American jobs?
So Goodyear needs to come out and clarify their policy. There was an image they failed to clear. Yes, I did see their statement, which still failed to clarify their policy.
Racial equality, racial justice, that is okay, but not political speech. That's pretty standard across the board right now. That's not that unusual. Did the president even reach out to Goodyear before he tweeted?
They came out and said equity issues. As far as I'm concerned, Blue Lives Matter is an equity issue. There have been police officers across this country that have been targeted because they wear the badge.
Yeah, except if you choose to be a cop, you have made a decision to be a cop. People don't get to choose what their race is. They don't get to choose what their sexual orientation is. And so to try to extend an argument regarding equality to people who make a decision to work in a certain field, I think is absolutely ridiculous. But John, I wanted to get your take.
Yeah, the whole thing is just so frustrating. It's yes, choice versus being born into it is a great point. The actual reality of who is being targeted and oppressed and who is pretending to try to draw the spotlight to themselves. The fact that one was an organic movement meant to draw attention to an injustice, the other was a direct response intended to take the spotlight back again. If I sit next to, when we sat in the studio, I sit next to Brett. Let's say hypothetically, we both had kids and I got a world's greatest dad mug and he got a no, I'm a better dad mug. Those are not equal. One is more aggressive, okay? And so it's just, it's like saying that you have LGBTQ pride is just a positive thing about a group. We know how many people have attacked others while wearing MAGA hats. We know that All Lives Matter is a direct response, an aggressive response to this civil rights movement. There's no reason why they wouldn't want to limit that. To be safer, they're probably just gonna end up banning literally everything. So because the right got triggered by this, everything's gonna be canceled. That would be my prediction for Goodyear. But I also love in his original tweet, the idea that the left does this all the time, we have to start to. You guys boycott something like every week. What are you talking about start doing something? Fox News is all boycotts. Didn't they boycott Keurig and Nike and a million other products? It's not new. But I also love one other thing where he's like, you can get much better tires for lower prices. Does anyone think he did market research before he tweeted that? Does anybody think
I mean, look,
that
he won't even do market research for his own businesses. That's why he went bankrupt 6 times. I mean, the guy is lazy and incompetent as hell. So like, of course not. But no, but this story, okay, forget the apparel part of it, right? I actually think that's a very small part of this discussion. I know this is what triggered the discussion, but like at the heart of it is this characteristic of Donald Trump that's so damaging to the country, right? It's about how he always prioritizes himself, his own political agenda, and his own self-interest above anything else. And while being president of the United States is a position of power, right? And there are people out there who are lured, seduced by that power. In reality, what that position is supposed to represent is a service, is a public service, right? You are supposed to be willing to give up so much in order to represent this country, to lead this country. But even when it comes to something on a very like granular, irrelevant level, something like as irrelevant as wearing a MAGA hat, Donald Trump is willing to see Americans lose their jobs, like assuming that this boycott is successful. And honestly, I don't think it will be, but assuming that it would be, right? That's his intention. Let's boycott, knowing that employees are gonna lose their jobs if people follow through with this boycott, because my feeties are hurt, because people won't be able to wear my goofy hats. Like, just, you're a grown man. He's in his 70s. He's in his 70s.
Like, imagine like Obama's like, I just heard that like, Oscar Mayer wieners banning the Hope shirt. Don't eat their wieners, there are better wieners. That would have never ever happened, God. I just want the world to be sane. And honestly, Trump is gonna freak out. He's always gonna freak out. He's gonna pretend that he
that you
cares.
Went there, but okay.
I know, exactly. I think it worked best this way. And people pointed out that like the Beast, the vehicle the president uses, is Goodyear tires, like all the time. But anyway, it was the response to the tweet that really got me most worked up. It was because there are people with 3 times as many Twitter followers as us who literally the only thing they do is respond to everything Trump tweets and say, "Yay, you're the best." So I looked at his Goodyear tweet replies, and it was all people saying, "No more Goodyear for me," like just agreeing with it, which fine, they're gonna do whatever he says. But then there were all these replies saying Goodyear tires are second rate. Like, what, did you think that yesterday? I had no idea if it's better or worse than Firestone or literally any other type. The idea that, like, you can say, I'm not going to purchase this product because of what they did. You could boycott something, fine. People boycotted Goya, but they did it because of the political thing. They didn't suddenly start saying Hormel has better beans unless they already believed it, okay? But you can't have like your factual statements about the world be entirely determined by day political calculations. And I know that this seems like a weird thing to focus on. And every time I talk about, caring about the nature of reality or actually caring whether the things you believe are actually true, it seems like this weird, abstract, philosophical thing that we don't have to worry about. But there are like millions of QAnon people, and Trump was just talking about it. And Laura Loomer just got elected, and Marjorie, the QAnon woman, she just won a primary. Like, this is actually leading to something. This idea that facts are totally optional. You can just make them up and live your life based on that. This isn't just a philosophical concern. This is having real world impact on our politics. And it's only gonna get worse from here.
Want to win a free electric scooter? Well, our partners at Aspiration and Zoom Electric are making it possible. All you have to do is head to tyt.com/greensummer for your chance to win.